I know a lot of my audience actually found me through the David Pakman show. I've done some correspondent work for him, interviewing Trump supporters at Trump events, as well as guest hosted his show a couple times. So because of that, I thought it'd be really fun to cover this. David Pakman is clashing with an OAN host. So to give you quick context, if you're not aware, David Pakman is a progressive political commentator, most notorious recently for these interviews that one of his correspondents does. It's just incredible. And then OAN, super far-right, conspiratorial, Fox News mixed with Alex Jones, even more radical than Fox News. And a host from OAN put out a social media video talking about how the globalists are tracking her through her Nest thermostat. Okay, well, David Pakman covered this on his show, and then she responded and went after him. First, we'll show you his initial story about this. So hilarious.
All right, let's check out a sort of good old-fashioned conspiracy theory. This one combines the globalist. You know how Alex Jones always uses that term? Globalist, internationalist, Trotskyite.
Take note of those impressions, because she'll go after them later.
Socialists, unlike Obama, Trudeau, Macron, and the rest of these Zio beasts.
Yeah, that's a recording of me doing Alex Jones. Okay, so One American News OAN anchor Alison Steinberg did a globalist rant about globalists tracking her through her apartment's, I guess it's a Nest thermostat with its energy saving settings. This is, let's just take a look at this. And this is the level of delusion that now is being, that we're now seeing presented in a serious manner.
All right, so I think it's pretty obvious, we can all agree, the whole goal with these globalists is to track us and trace us and monitor every single thing that we do in our everyday lives. In fact, this device that you're probably watching me from, that you're holding in your hand, is doing just that right now. And we know this. This is not new news.
Okay.
However, I've just discovered another layer of this that is, what I believe, taking it a step way too far. So I just moved into this new place, and this Nest device came automatically installed. With the apartment. It's the...
So we'll cut it off there for time's sake, but she pretty much goes on to explain how she would leave the Nest thermostat and it would change the temperature automatically, up or down, one of the two, because there's these energy saving settings they'll have on those where if you don't walk by it for long enough, it'll assume that you've left the house and it'll turn it either up or down depending on if it's winter, it'll turn it down. If it's summer, it'll turn it up based on the temperature to save you energy, right? And so it uses a motion sensor. It's not the globalist tracking you, it's a motion sensor. And you can turn it off in the settings. And what's so funny about her telling this is she literally walks through how she found the setting, and it's an energy saving setting, and she figured out how to turn it off. So then why in the world she still believes it's a globalist conspiracy to track her? I don't know, because she just explained this just a setting she can turn off. I don't know. Crazy stuff. Pakman has a similar response that triggered her, and this is her end to an epic segment about how, no, the thermostats really are a globalist plot to control, track, whatever. And this is kind of the climax of it, where she goes after him directly as a soy boy, a vest wearer or a sweater wearer, and horrible at impressions.
Go ahead, David. Keep drinking your soy and getting your poison shots and believing everything the media tells you. Whatever you do, definitely don't question anything.
I gotta cut it off, sorry, already. And there's lots more to watch from that clip. But just to get one point at a time, it is so fascinating with these conspiracy theorists, how they think they're the ones who are actually questioning, those in power in a meaningful way. It's hilarious because I think they truly believe that being someone who gathers your news from different media outlets and then creates your belief system, and you understand that everything's not a conspiracy, that's you just believing everything you hear. But then them having a default of everything is the globalist no matter what is them taking each situation one at a time and questioning the facts of it. No, it's actually so much more intellectually simple to believe that everything is a conspiracy meant to keep you down, and it's all the globalists right? That's easier than actually understanding how these mechanisms work, how the different institutions interact with each other, how you know if you can trust a certain media institution, all that type of stuff. That's actually more complicated than just believing everything is a conspiracy. So it's actually the opposite of what she's saying. But we'll continue.
Ever. But if you do see this video, I would just like to make a couple of very small requests. One, please stop uploading my content so you can monetize it. I believe you owe me some cash now, along with...
In honor of her saying this, I will upload an upload of Pakman uploading her, and monetize off of all of it.
Your apology. And two, for the love of God, stop playing your pre-recorded sound bites impersonating Alex Jones, because quite frankly, they suck and you sound nothing like him.
Roasted.
If you're gonna make fun of someone, at least do a decent job. Oh, and last thing, your button-up sweater vests have got to go. You're already affiliated with the party who's in support of maps. So I would hate for people to think that you're one of them. Just saying.
So that was kind of alluding to people thinking that he's a pedophile because he wears button-up sweaters. Well, to be clear, he's denied the fact that he wears button-up sweaters. Or sweater vests, button-up sweater vests. Is that what she said? So many funny elements of this. The first is on screen if you're watching the show right now. David Pakman on screen is spelled Pakman, which is not the way you spell his name, which is hilarious. And then also he said when covering this himself that she also tagged a Twitter account that has 0 followers and is a fan account of David Pakman. It's not his actual account. Another hilarious element of this. But then kind of the main actual important point about this is that if you have a conspiracy brain, if you've developed those pathways in your brain, where everything becomes a conspiracy, it's so hard to stop seeing the world through that lens. And I've seen people in my own life, and I'll try to describe this in a way where it's not super obvious to this person, you know, if they were to ever see this, but I'll keep it vague. I had someone who had that very similar way of looking at the world where everything was a conspiracy, and it was fascinating to watch because I would hear her explain very common instances, very common experiences of people, and then would put it through the conspiracy filter and then would tell me a completely different conclusion than anyone else would draw, right? And so something pretty normal turns into her being tracked, her being followed, her being whatever. And you can see that with this host as well. It's not, oh, let me go turn off the setting, move on with my day. It's the globalists are trying to track me. And this is why it's such a project to deprogram people, right? Because, you're not just debunking one theory they have. You're not just convincing them that it's not the thermostat tracking them through the globalists, right? Or it's not the globalists tracking them through the thermostat is a better way to say that. Because, okay, you debunk that one thing, they're still going to believe a gazillion different things, and they're still going to process the world through that lens. And so it's such a longer and extensive process. And that's why so few people are able to be deprogrammed in that way. And it is really scary to see so much of our country and the world get caught up in this conspiracy type thinking. Because once you develop those pathways in your brain, once your eyes see conspiracy every time you look around, it's really hard to stop seeing that. And it's a very extensive process. And she's a great example of that, where she's seeing something pretty normal. A Nest thermostat has a motion sensor. If you don't walk by it for a while, it changes your temp a little bit to save you energy, and you can turn that setting off if you'd like. And she sees the globalists tracking her. Anyways, hilarious moment there. David Pakman feuding with an OAN host.